There are places on Earth that look so strange, they seem impossible landscapes that could be mistaken for another planet, yet exist right here on ours. Some glow in the dark. Some burn from within. Some are frozen in time, untouched for millions of years. They don't fit the usual picture of mountains, rivers, or deserts. They break every expectation of what Earth is supposed to look like. From volcanoes that spill neon blue fire to lakes so salty they reflect the sky like glass, these are locations that challenge everything we know about our planet. They prove that nature doesn't need imagination, it already outperforms it. In parts of the world, the ground breathes, glaciers move faster than rivers, and water glows brighter than the stars above it. There are deserts that look painted, caves that glow like cathedrals, and islands that exist in complete isolation, thousands of kilometers from any other land. Each one tells a story about how Earth works and how little we still understand about it. Some of these places are hidden in plain sight, while others are so remote that almost nobody has seen them up close. But all of them share one thing in common. They remind us that our planet is still wild, still changing, and still full of surprises. So in this video, we're traveling across continents, climates, and extremes from the ice of Antarctica to the volcanic heat of the Pacific, from the glowing oceans of the tropics to the deserts of Africa, to uncover the most unbelievable places on Earth, and to understand the forces that made them real. Planet Earth is full of extraordinary places that look like they shouldn't exist. Landscapes that appear computer-generated, mountains that seem carved by design, and natural phenomena that don't look natural at all. These are the places that make people stop and ask, is that even real? But every one of them is shaped by geology, weather, and time rather than imagination. Across the continents, there are formations, islands, deserts, and valleys that push the limits of what our planet can look like. And in this chapter, we're going to explore some of the most unreal places ever discovered, the ones that don't just defy expectations, they rewrite them. Let's start in Iceland, a country often described as a bridge between fire and ice. On the island's northern coast stands Eyjafjallajökull, a 12-meter basalt sea stack that has been eroded by the North Atlantic over thousands of years. The rock's strange shape, resembling a giant creature drinking from the ocean, is the result of softer material being stripped away by waves, while the harder basalt remained. The base of the stack has even been reinforced with concrete to prevent it from collapsing. It's a clear example of how relentless natural erosion can accidentally create something that looks intentional, like a sculpture left behind by nature itself. From Iceland, we move to the rugged Scottish coast, to the Isle of Skye. Rising out of the landscape is a pinnacle of rock called the Old Man of Storr. This 50-meter spire formed from an ancient landslide where softer rock fell away and left harder columns behind. The combination of steep cliffs, frequent mist, and shifting light makes it look almost cinematic, which is why it's been used in several films and documentaries. But the real reason the area feels unreal is because the terrain around it is still moving. Slowly but constantly, as the Earth continues to reshape the same ridge that created the Storr in the first place. Far south in Greece, another landscape defies belief for a very different reason. Navajo Beach, on the island of Zakynthos, is a small, isolated cove surrounded by towering white cliffs and filled with turquoise water so clear it almost glows. The beach is home to the remains of a shipwreck that ran aground in the 1980s, which adds to its surreal appearance. The entire cove is only accessible by boat, which keeps it looking untouched despite being one of the most photographed beaches in the world. From above, the contrast between the bright sand, the limestone walls, and the deep blue water creates a color palette that looks artificial, but it's all completely natural. In the heart of central Turkey lies another location that doesn't seem like it belongs on Earth. Cappadocia is a vast region of eroded volcanic rock, where centuries of wind and rain have shaped the terrain into strange towers and cones known as fairy chimneys. These formations are made of soft tuff topped with harder basalt. So the softer layers wear away faster, leaving thousands of unique pillars spread across the landscape. Over the centuries, humans carved entire homes, churches, and underground cities into these rocks because the material is soft and easy to dig. When hundreds of hot air balloons rise over the valleys each morning, the combination of ancient geology and human adaptation creates one of the most visually striking scenes anywhere on the planet. From the deserts of Anatolia to the middle of the Indian Ocean, our next destination looks even more alien. Socotra Island, part of Yemen, is home to some of the rarest plants and animals on Earth. Isolated from the mainland for millions of years, Socotra developed its own ecosystem with species found nowhere else. The most recognizable of them is the dragon's blood tree, with its thick trunk and umbrella-shaped canopy. The red sap that gives it its name was once used as dye and medicine. The island's isolation and arid climate help preserve this bizarre collection of life, creating a landscape that feels more like another planet than part of our own. In southern China's Hunan province, nature has built an entire city of stone. Zhangjiajie National Forest Park is home to over 3,000 vertical sandstone pillars, some more than 200 meters tall. These towers formed through erosion and weathering as water seeped into cracks in the sandstone and gradually wore away the softer layers. The result is a maze of thin, towering cliffs that rise from the mist-covered forest below. The landscape is so unusual that it directly inspired the floating mountains in the movie Avatar. Walking through it feels less like hiking and more like exploring a world that shouldn't exist. But some of the most unreal places on Earth aren't made of rock, they're alive with heat, color, and chemical reactions. In northern Ethiopia, the Danakil Depression looks more like a science experiment than a natural landscape. It's one of the hottest and lowest places on the planet, with daytime temperatures often exceeding 45 degrees C. The region is filled with acid pools, geysers, and salt flats, colored bright yellow, green, and orange by sulfur and mineral deposits. Beneath the surface, active volcanoes and gas vents constantly reshape the ground. Life still exists here. Tiny microorganisms survive in the boiling water, but to the human eye, the Danakil looks more like an alien planet than part of Earth. In South America, Chile's Atacama Desert shows a completely different kind of unreal beauty. The Val de la Luna, or Valley of the Moon, gets its name from how closely it resembles the lunar surface. It's one of the driest places on Earth, where some weather stations have never recorded measurable rainfall. Because of the lack of moisture and vegetation, erosion happens slowly and evenly, sculpting the sand and stone into smooth, curved shapes. As the sun sets, the color of the valley shifts from gold to red to deep violet. The air here is so dry and clear that the Atacama is also home to several of the world's most powerful telescopes, making it one of the best places to view both the Earth and the universe. In Arizona, the story of another unreal place begins with impact rather than erosion. Meteor Crater, also known as Barringer Crater, was formed about 50,000 years ago when an iron meteorite struck the desert at speeds of more than 40,000 kilometers per hour. The impact released energy equivalent to a large nuclear explosion and left behind a hole nearly 1.2 kilometers wide and 170 meters deep. It's one of the best preserved impact craters on Earth, and standing on its edge gives a perspective that's difficult to comprehend: the scale of destruction from a single moment in time frozen permanently into the landscape. Moving across Asia once more, China's Mount Fanjing combines geology and human construction in an extraordinary way. Two Buddhist temples sit on top of twin peaks, connected by a narrow stone bridge. The mountain itself formed from erosion-resistant rock that withstood the forces that wore down the surrounding land. The result is a tall, isolated summit surrounded by clouds and forest. For centuries, the site has served as a spiritual destination, but it also stands as an example of how natural formations and human architecture can merge to create something that looks impossible. In Brazil, Lençóis Maranhenses National Park looks like a desert filled with lakes. Rolling white sand dunes stretch for hundreds of kilometers, but between them, rainwater collects in thousands of shallow blue lagoons. A clay layer beneath the sand prevents the water from seeping away, allowing the pools to last for several months after the rainy season. Fish and freshwater species appear temporarily through seasonal flooding, then vanish as the water evaporates. From the air, the alternating stripes of sand and water look like ripples of light frozen in place. In the North Atlantic, the Faroe Islands hold one of Europe's strangest illusions. Lake Sorvagsvatn appears to float hundreds of feet above the ocean. In reality, it sits on a plateau only slightly higher than sea level. But the steep cliffs create an optical illusion that makes the lake appear suspended in midair. When viewed from a specific angle, the illusion is perfect, with calm fresh water seemingly hovering over rough ocean waves below. It's a simple trick of perspective, but one that perfectly demonstrates how terrain can change the way we perceive the world around us. In the deserts of Turkmenistan, human error accidentally created another of the planet's most bizarre sights. The Darvaza gas crater, also known as the Door to Hell, began in 1971 when a drilling operation punctured an underground natural gas cavern. The ground collapsed, creating a pit about 70 meters wide. To prevent toxic gas from spreading, geologists set it on fire, expecting it to burn for only a few days. More than 50 years later, it's still burning. At night, the crater glows orange and red, illuminating the barren desert around it, a reminder of how easily humanity can create something both destructive and beautiful. In Sri Lanka, the ancient fortress of Sijaraya stands nearly 200 meters above the jungle. Built atop a massive column of stone, it was once the capital of a 5th century kingdom. The rock itself formed from hardened magma that resisted erosion, while the softer surrounding terrain wore away. The result is a natural skyscraper topped with the ruins of a royal palace, gardens, and frescoes. It's one of the earliest examples of humans adapting to and enhancing a natural geological feature, transforming it into a symbol of power and permanence. And finally, in the deserts of Utah, erosion has carved more than 2,000 arches into the sandstone of Arches National Park, each one formed as water and wind widened cracks in the rock, gradually wearing away everything except the strongest parts. The process takes millions of years, and the result is a landscape that looks deliberate, as though the planet was experimenting with architecture. Under the setting sun, the red rock glows with color, turning the desert into a living sculpture. From volcanic islands to frozen coastlines, from deserts to mountains, these are the kinds of places that show just how diverse and unpredictable our planet can be. None of them were built by design or imagination. They were formed by the same basic forces: erosion, heat, pressure, and time, but arranged in ways that look impossible. What we call unreal is often just nature being more creative than we expect, and this is only the beginning. There are countless other places across the globe that continue to challenge our understanding of how Earth works, places where science, history, and chance collide to produce the extraordinary. The more we travel across the planet, the clearer it becomes that nature doesn't follow a single rulebook. Some places look impossible because of how light, heat, and movement interact in one moment of time. Others exist because millions of years of volcanic activity or erosion have shaped them into something almost unrecognizable. These are the kinds of landscapes that feel alien yet belong completely to Earth. In the South Pacific, New Zealand's South Island holds one of the most dramatic examples of this. The Franz Josef Glacier descends from high alpine peaks into a lush, temperate rainforest, a combination that shouldn't logically exist. Most glaciers end in barren valleys or icy plains, but here, warm coastal air delivers heavy rainfall right next to frozen ice. The glacier moves unusually fast, up to 10 times quicker than most others in the world, grinding rock beneath it and leaving deep blue crevasses. When the morning sun hits the ice, the contrast between the bright green forest and the deep, glowing blue of the glacier makes it look like two worlds colliding. Across the ocean in Hawaii, nature takes the opposite approach: constant creation through fire. The Kilauea volcano on the Big Island is one of the most active volcanoes on Earth. Its eruptions are not sudden explosions, but slow, continuous flows of molten rock that reshape the island every year. New land literally forms as lava meets the sea, solidifying into jagged black coastlines that hiss with steam. The contrast between glowing red lava and crashing blue waves is one of the most extreme scenes on the planet. The ground beneath Hawaii is alive, still building itself from the inside out, just as it has been for hundreds of thousands of years. Further south in Indonesia, The Kuie volcano in East Java adds another layer of strangeness. At night, bright blue flames rise from cracks in the crater. The flames aren't mystical, they're burning sulfur gas that ignites as it escapes from underground. The same crater holds one of the most acidic lakes on Earth, colored turquoise by dissolved minerals. Miners work inside this harsh environment, carrying blocks of solidified sulfur on their shoulders. The sight of glowing blue fire under the stars looks unreal, but its chemistry in action a reminder that beauty and danger often share the same space. Thousands of kilometers away, Antarctica hides another world under ice. Deep below its frozen surface lies Lake Vostok, sealed beneath nearly 4 kilometers of ice for more than 15 million years. The lake is about the size of one of the Great Lakes in North America, yet no sunlight has reached it in all that time. Scientists believe it may contain microbial life adapted to complete isolation. Above ground, the continent's glaciers, ice shelves, and vast white plains stretch endlessly in every direction. Antarctica looks empty, but beneath its surface, entire ecosystems may still be alive, locked away in a frozen time capsule. If we move north again to the edge of the Arctic, we find the ice caves of Vatnajökull in Iceland. Each winter, meltwater carves tunnels through the base of Europe's largest glacier. The ceilings of these caves are made entirely of translucent blue ice, refracting light like glass. No two caves are ever the same each year's tunnels melt and refreeze into new shapes. Standing inside feels like being trapped under a frozen ocean, where every sound echoes. It's one of the few places where you can literally see the slow movement of a glacier happening around you. While glaciers sculpt from above, water can shape the planet from below as well. Off the coast of Belize lies the Great Blue Hole, one of the most iconic underwater sinkholes in the world. Measuring over 300 meters across and 120 meters deep, it was once a dry cave during the last ice age. When sea levels rose, the cave flooded and its ceiling collapsed, leaving a perfect circular pit in the middle of the reef. From the air, it looks like a black circle cut into turquoise water. For divers, descending into the blue hole is like entering another planet's stalactites, limestone walls, and near-complete silence. It's a geological scar that tells the story of a world that used to be above the sea. Further west in Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, thousands of natural sinkholes called cenotes dot the jungle. These deep freshwater pools were formed when underground limestone caves collapsed, exposing crystal-clear groundwater below. For the ancient Maya, cenotes were sacred entrances to the underworld. Today, they're among the clearest bodies of water on Earth, with visibility exceeding 50 meters in some cases. The sunlight filters through vines and roots, illuminating blue water against pale rock. It's one of the rare places where geology and culture are inseparable, where a hole in the ground became a doorway between worlds. Not far away in Bolivia, another illusion plays out across the largest salt flat on the planet, the Salar de Uyuni. During the rainy season, a thin layer of water transforms its 10,000 square kilometers of salt into a perfect mirror. The sky reflects so clearly on its surface that the horizon disappears entirely. Travelers walking across it look like they're floating in space. Beneath the surface lies one of the world's largest reserves of lithium, a reminder that even the most magical landscapes have deep ties to the practical and industrial world. When it dries, the salt contracts into polygon shapes, turning the plain into a natural mosaic. It's a place that looks endless, yet it changes dramatically every few months. In East Africa, the contrast continues at Lake Natron in northern Tanzania. This shallow, alkaline lake regularly reaches temperatures above 60 degrees Celsius and is saturated with minerals from surrounding volcanic rock. The high alkalinity preserves animal remains that fall into it, coating them in layers of sodium carbonate and giving them a stone-like appearance. The bright red color of the lake comes from microorganisms that thrive in the extreme conditions. It's a harsh, dangerous environment, but also a crucial breeding ground for flamingos. What looks like a dead world from above is, in reality, one of the most specialized ecosystems on Earth. Heading back north again, in Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula, the Valley of Geysers shows how active Earth's surface still is. Dozens of steam vents, geysers, and boiling pools erupt in a narrow valley surrounded by snow-covered peaks. The heat comes from magma chambers sitting just a few kilometers below the surface. Clouds of vapor rise constantly, and sudden eruptions of boiling water can reach several meters high. It's one of the few places on the planet where you can see the raw energy of Earth's interior breaking through its crust in real time. In the Philippines, another strange island shows how life adapts to extremes. Taal Volcano sits in the middle of Taal Lake, but inside the volcano's crater, there is another smaller lake. It's a lake within a lake on an island within another lake, one of the rarest geological formations anywhere. The volcano remains active, occasionally sending ash clouds into the sky. From the air, it looks peaceful, but it's a reminder that even seemingly calm landscapes can change without warning. In Japan, nature's surrealism meets human observation at Mount Aso, one of the world's largest volcanic calderas. The crater stretches over 25 kilometers wide and still emits plumes of gas and steam. Visitors can walk right up to the edge when conditions allow, looking down into a turquoise crater lake that bubbles from heat below. Surrounding the crater, flat grasslands stretch for kilometers, a rare combination of danger and tranquility in the same view. The landscape's vastness makes it feel almost unreal, like a simulation showing Earth in slow motion. Another strange water body sits in the heart of Africa. The boiling lava lake of Mount Nyiragongo in the Democratic Republic of the Congo is one of the most dangerous and spectacular sights on the planet. The crater is nearly 2 kilometers wide, filled with molten rock that moves in swirling, glowing patterns. The lake's surface constantly shifts and cracks as gas escapes. It's one of the few places where you can watch magma circulating openly, like a living heartbeat from the planet's interior. In 2002, a major eruption sent rivers of lava flowing through nearby towns, showing just how thin the line is between beauty and destruction. Not all unreal places are volcanic or icy. In northern Chile, the marble caves of General Carrera Lake reveal another side of geological artistry. Over thousands of years, waves eroded the calcium-rich marble along the lake's edge, sculpting tunnels and chambers in swirling patterns of blue, white, and gray. When sunlight reflects off the turquoise water, the marble appears to glow from within. The caves are accessible only by small boat, adding to their mystery. They're not massive or dramatic, their beauty lies in texture and color, in the fine details that make stone look alive. In the South Atlantic, the island of South Georgia combines ice, wildlife, and history into one of the most remote spectacles on Earth. Massive glaciers flow directly into the sea, while tens of thousands of king penguins gather along rocky beaches. The contrast between vivid life and total isolation defines the place. Mountains rise straight from the ocean, covered in snow even in summer. It feels untouched because, for the most part, it is visited only by researchers and a handful of travelers each year. Finally, we reach one of nature's most delicate illusions, the glow of bioluminescent bays. In places like Mosquito Bay in Puerto Rico and Toyama Bay in Japan, microscopic organisms emit light when disturbed by movement in the water. Every ripple from a boat, fish, or even a swimmer creates trails of blue light across the surface. On moonless nights, the effect is so strong that the ocean looks like liquid electricity. The glow is biological, not chemical, powered by the same kind of reactions that make fireflies shine. It's one of the few natural wonders you can experience only in motion light that vanishes as quickly as it appears. From frozen caves to burning craters, glowing oceans to lakes of acid, these are the extremes that define Earth's identity. They show how far nature can stretch before it becomes unrecognizable. Every one of these places follows the same basic laws of physics and chemistry, yet the results could not look more different. Together, they prove that the planet's most surreal sights aren't exceptions, they're evidence of how creative Earth can be when left to its own processes. After exploring the extremes of heat, cold, and light across our planet, it's clear that Earth's most surreal places aren't limited to any single type of landscape. They exist everywhere, from deep beneath the oceans to high above the clouds. Each one tells a different part of the planet's story, a reminder that the Earth is not static. It's constantly moving, changing, and revealing new shapes that seem impossible. In the Indian Ocean, the island nation of the Maldives shows a rare example of beauty built on fragility. The entire country sits just a few meters above sea level, spread across more than 1,000 coral islands. The bright turquoise lagoons and white sand beaches look like a digital render, but they're the result of living coral reefs that have built up layer by layer over thousands of years. From above, the islands form rings called atolls, which are actually the remnants of ancient volcanoes that collapsed long ago. While they appear peaceful, the Maldives are among the most vulnerable places on Earth to rising sea levels, meaning this unreal beauty is slowly disappearing. A few thousand kilometers to the east, the island of Borneo holds another world that feels equally impossible. The Mulu Caves in Malaysia contain some of the largest underground chambers ever discovered. Inside, the scale is hard to comprehend. One of the main caverns, Sarawak Chamber, is so vast it could fit several Boeing 747s parked side by side. The limestone formations within these caves have been carved by water for millions of years, creating a maze of tunnels, rivers, and cathedral-like vaults. At sunset, millions of bats pour out from the cave mouths in twisting columns, forming patterns that fill the sky. The combination of geological formation and biological life makes it one of the most dramatic natural spectacles on the planet. Moving from tropical jungles to the frozen north, the Svalbard archipelago in the Arctic Ocean shows nature at its most desolate yet strangely beautiful. Glaciers flow between dark, rocky mountains and frozen fjords. In the long polar night, the landscape is illuminated by the aurora borealis, shimmering green and violet lights caused by solar particles colliding with Earth's atmosphere. It's one of the most isolated inhabited regions on the planet, home to more polar bears than people. Beneath the surface, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault preserves millions of plant seeds from around the world, stored in permafrost as a backup for global agriculture. It's a combination of natural isolation and human foresight, turning one of Earth's coldest places into a symbol of resilience. In North America, Yellowstone National Park offers another kind of surrealism, a living landscape powered by the planet's internal heat. The park sits on top of a massive volcanic system, and its geothermal features are unlike anything else on Earth. The Grand Prismatic Spring, for example, is a hot spring with vibrant rings of color ranging from blue and green to orange and red. The colors come from heat-loving microorganisms that thrive in water exceeding 70 degrees Celsius. Nearby geysers like Old Faithful erupt at regular intervals, releasing plumes of steam high into the air. The ground hisses, bubbles, and steams constantly, reminding visitors that Yellowstone is a thin crust over one of the largest magma chambers in the world. It's both beautiful and ominous, a natural wonder and a geological warning. If we travel south into the Pacific Ocean again, the island of Palau shows another example of Earth's unexpected creativity. In the middle of the island chain lies Jellyfish Lake, a marine lake filled with millions of golden jellyfish. Over thousands of years, the jellyfish became isolated from the ocean and evolved to lose most of their stinging ability. They now move in synchronized pulses across the water, following the sun through the day. Swimming among them is like floating through a slow-moving galaxy of living light. It's a fragile ecosystem, entirely dependent on a precise balance of sunlight and salinity, but it continues to survive against all odds. In Australia, another surreal scene unfolds: the Pink Lakes of Western Australia. The most famous, Lake Hillier, has water that remains bright pink all year round. The color isn't artificial, it's caused by a combination of salt-loving algae and bacteria that produce red pigments. From the air, the lake looks like a splash of pink paint surrounded by forest and blue ocean. Scientists have studied it for decades, but the exact mechanism that keeps the color so stable remains only partly understood. The lake isn't toxic, but the salt concentration is so high that little can live in it. It's another example of how chemistry can turn something ordinary salt water into something visually extraordinary. Crossing to Africa again, the Namib Desert shows beauty in minimalism. The dunes here are among the highest in the world, some rising more than 300 meters above the desert floor. The combination of deep red sand and pale blue sky creates a stark contrast, especially near Deadvlay, a white clay pan surrounded by rust-colored dunes. The skeletal remains of ancient camelthorn trees still stand there, perfectly preserved by the dry air. They died hundreds of years ago, but they've never decayed. The result is a landscape frozen in time, where nothing moves and every shadow looks like a painting. In South America, another landscape defies expectations entirely. The Eye of the Sahara, also known as the Richat structure, is a massive circular formation in the middle of the Mauritanian desert. It's about 40 kilometers wide and perfectly round, resembling a giant bullseye when seen from space. Scientists once thought it was caused by a meteor impact, but it's actually a deeply eroded dome of rock that formed through natural uplift and erosion. Layers of sandstone and quartz create concentric rings of blue, brown, and white that stand out starkly against the surrounding desert. It's one of those features that makes you question how such precision can exist in nature without human design. Further south, in Argentina's Patagonia region, the Perito Moreno Glacier offers a rare view of ice in motion. Unlike most glaciers on Earth, which are retreating, this one is stable. It advances at a rate that nearly matches its melting, maintaining a consistent size over decades. Massive chunks of ice regularly break off into the turquoise waters of Lake Argentino, creating thunderous echoes that roll through the valley. Watching the glacier's movement in real time, hearing the cracks, the collapses, and the splash gives a sense of the planet's living, breathing nature. It's slow, constant motion on a scale we can barely perceive. Back in Asia, the Philippines' banal rice terraces represent one of the most harmonious interactions between humans and nature. Carved into mountain slopes over 2,000 years ago, the terraces follow the natural contours of the land so precisely that they look organic rather than engineered. Water from the surrounding forests flows down through a complex irrigation system that still functions today. From a distance, the terraces resemble green steps climbing into the clouds. Though human-made, they are entirely sustained by natural cycles of rain, soil, and temperature, a reminder that not every unreal landscape is purely geological. In Africa, the Tsingy de Bemaraha in Madagascar looks like a forest made of stone. Sharp limestone pinnacles rise in dense clusters, some more than 100 meters tall, separated by deep, narrow canyons. The formation was created as rainwater slowly dissolved the limestone over millions of years, leaving behind razor-sharp ridges. The word Tsingy literally means where one cannot walk barefoot in Malagasy, which is accurate. Despite the harsh terrain, wildlife thrives here, including lemurs and rare birds that have adapted to the rocky maze. The Tsingy is both dangerous and mesmerizing, a natural labyrinth unlike anything else on the planet. Finally, we return to one of nature's most mesmerizing illusions, the Northern Lights. Visible across high-latitude regions like Alaska, Norway, and Canada, these shimmering lights are caused by charged particles from the sun colliding with Earth's magnetic field. The colors depend on which gases they interact with: green from oxygen, red and purple from nitrogen. The result is a sky that appears alive, constantly shifting and waving like an ocean of color. No matter how many scientific explanations we attach to it, the experience of watching the aurora borealis feels unreal in every sense of the word. It's nature's original light show, connecting our planet's surface to the forces of space. Looking across all these places, from volcanoes and glaciers to deserts and bioluminescent bays, it's clear that Earth is far stranger and more complex than it appears on maps. Every unreal location is evidence of the same underlying truth. The planet is still evolving. What we see today is only one frame in a process that never stops. Mountains rise and erode, oceans flood and retreat, climate shift, and life adapts. The result is a world that constantly surprises us. The most unbelievable thing about these unreal places isn't how they look, it's that they're all real.